We're just normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
Welcome to the RedAss Podcast, your home for Aggie sports, barbecue, music, and much more. And now your hosts, Rob White and Roy May.
Howdy, guys. Welcome back to the RedAss Podcast. Today is Thursday, September 11th. I am Rob White, fighting Texas Aggie class of 2014.
Yeah, and I'm Roy May, fighting Texas Aggie class of 2015, and it is Patriot Day in America.
Yes, it is.
So it is 24 years since that occurred.
Crazy.
I'm not going to sit here and do any recounting or anything like that. But if you're bored and you're on X, I did a post years ago. Somebody asked me to do it, and it was like that year they were asking for like the hashtag My 9/11 story.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, at the time I was in DC, and so we did rescue and recovery in the Pentagon. And I just kind of sat down and typed. I didn't think, I just kind of typed. And I actually read back through it today because Jonna reminded me of it. I read back through it, and yeah, it's crazy. It's been that long. You know, it's
24 years. Slight recount here. I was in fourth grade. And they were rolling in the big TV into the room.
Yep.
Watched the whole thing. History happened in front of us. And not a lot's changed on that front. Feels like that seems to be that's the world we're in.
I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of stuff today. Just, you know, it really was kind of the day that the world changed. You know, I was lowly private first class May at that time.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I didn't want to think about what I was getting paid a month as a private first class.
Yeah, especially at that point.
24 years ago of pay deduction, you know, because we get pay raises every year almost. Yeah, so take 24 years of pay raises off what a PFC is making right now. Yeah. I think I had enough to pretty much go to the Class 6. Class 6 is on post. The Class 6 is where it's the liquor store.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. You people know I drink a beer on air. All right. There's no secret that I drink beer.
Yeah, we enjoy beer. We like beer. Beer's good.
Yes, I care for beer.
Yeah.
All right, man. So we're going to start off, I think, with something a little different, just because I want to discuss this just a touch. I don't want to harbor on it. Actually, there's a handful of things because a lot has gone on in the last week in Aggie sports, right? The men and women's golf team, I just want to give them a shout out for just going out and basically winning. It's kind of like that's what they do. They just win, and both the women and men have now notched consecutive wins. The women are, I think, at like 5 in a row or something. It's something bonkers. But you don't do that. Yeah, and the women have 3 freshmen on the team. So the women's golf is amazing, and the men just won their second straight tournament. And you know, generally when you look at golfers outside of Scotty Scheffler, you don't tend to win tournaments in a row.
It's tough. It's very because there's always different environmental factors. There's different setups at every course. I mean, you know, it's very much in the vein of baseball, right? Like every time you walk into a ballpark, there's going to be extra things you have to worry about in that particular ballpark. It's the same deal with the golf course. I mean, and you're going over week and you're winning. That's awesome.
It's a fickle sport. It's truly a game. It's not even a game of inches. Golf is a game of millimeters. Like millimeters on where you hit the ball in the face of the club. For me, it's probably inches. That's how far off I am when I hit the ball. But
feel that.
But yeah, so I just want to give them a quick shout out. I want to talk about Aggie volleyball. It did really great, and then had like a brutal, you know, back-to-back road schedule. One top 10 team, one top 25 team. Dropped them both. That was really disappointing. The SMU getting swept, I thought, just like you don't get swept if you're number 8, right?
Right.
I don't care if you're on the road. It was an empty gym. I mean, you could hear everything. So a little disappointing. They just need to get back on track. They don't. I don't think they really get challenged for a couple of weeks, but it'll be a good opportunity for them to bounce back. I've said it before. I love what Jamie Morrison is building. But yes, hopefully he can kind of harness this adversity, right? And now we have like, hey, we obviously have a lot of work left to do.
Sure.
And I think they all understand that. You got 2 All-Americans on the team. It was just I caught the TCU match. It was on while we were bowling last night, and we got done bowling and watched the 5th set. So it's kind of a bummer, but it's one of those where we did it to ourselves because I think it was the either athletic department or the university basically posted out a graphic that said everybody's undefeated. And as soon as they did that, I knew it's the ultimate jinx.
That's always the way it goes. I mean, it's early September too. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, come on, right?
I mean, I get it. It's a cool flex in that moment, but it was never going to last.
And then it's just fodder for everybody else the rest of the time. Because
Right.
the internet is
Yeah.
forever.
Then what happened, Aggie? Yeah.
Yeah, the internet is forever. What's that old saying? Like every day when you wake up, yeah, everybody has goals and things they want to do in life, but everyone's number one goal when they wake up should be to not be that person on social media that day. Because there's always one guy on social media or girl on social media every day that's that guy.
Mhm.
Like, don't be Karen at the Phillies game.
No.
You know, like,
Wow.
yeah, brutal, dude. Especially when they said like what she said, like what she actually said to the dad. Woof.
And,
I do not get some people, man. We are living in a really crazy time in the world, and it's
and
just
and I have to ask you a question. So on that Phillies front, what do you do as a dad in that situation? If that was your daughter and you got her that ball, what does that conversation look like?
me personally. It doesn't look
Yes.
anywhere near as calm as it did, as that guy handled it. Honestly, he handled it probably better than I would have because you set the example in front of your kids, do the right thing, even you do the right thing in the face of others doing the wrong thing, right? That's what you
Right.
always try and do when you're in front of your kids. So I probably would have flipped a little bit and then realized that my daughter's watching me. Um, but I don't deal well with people getting in my face to begin with.
Fair.
Like don't get in my face. I don't need like I don't have a 3 foot bubble around me. But I'm really kind of I don't like people in my personal space. Like when you're right there in my face, you at that point you have crossed a line of like you're not coming back from what you just did.
Right.
And I'm not saying I'm going to hit anybody or shove anybody, but once you kind of invade my personal space, which is right here,
Yeah. Oh,
I got
hey,
enough of
bro.
this crap in the army, right? And well, and to me, it just turns into a respect thing,
It
and
does.
that's I mean, you don't have to like people, but just respect humans. It's not hard to be a good person. It's really not. And I'm not sitting here, we don't do political stuff, we don't do religion. I'm just it's not hard to be a good person,
Right.
but every day it seems like we're able to find somebody who finds being a good person really difficult.
Well, and I mean, you saw obviously the whole hoopla that happened with this lady, and then it turns around and it all worked out in the favor by taking the
Yeah.
high road because they end up getting goodie bags from the Marlins, end up getting a signed bat, hoodies. I mean,
It was great. It turned out great, and that's what you love to see
yes,
is is when being a good person pays off, and it does. It generally, whether it's in the short run or the long run, being a good person pays off.
it does.
And so, yeah, I was thrilled to see them handle it the way they did. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Um,
I think, I know
Especially considering when it came out what she said, I was
unreal.
like, how does that even come out of your mouth? Like, how do
You're
you think to say that?
you're an adult woman at a baseball game trying to take a ball away from a child. Reevaluate your life choices.
Yes. Yes.
Please.
I think that's a fair statement. That's yes, absolutely.
I mean, that's about as far as it goes for me because the moment that you realize that you look like that much of a jackass in front of the entire nation, in fact, the world, there's no coming back from that.
Well, and that's like the fact that you ever even got to that point.
Yeah, it's
Who
crazy.
does that? Well, I mean, we know who does that. Her.
At least
But
her.
and that like billionaire or whatever at the US Open that took that kid for like it's just there are people like that in the world, man. And I
There
just
are.
it we were having this conversation earlier this morning actually in a meeting. I have calmed down a lot in my life. I really have.
Sure.
I used to be hyper emotional in the sense like everything kind of made me angry, or if I got angry, I generally took it too far, and not like in a violent way or anything, but like yelling. And then I realized like my mood is ruining the mood of people around me,
Right.
and it's just part of it, I guess, is just getting older and wiser. And so I have a different outlook in the world relative to just if you get angry at somebody, why would you not expect them to be angry back? And now everybody's angry. Nobody's accomplishing anything. So it's almost like a kill them with kindness kind of thing, right? So
Exactly.
and that dad, I thought he did it great. He was
Yeah.
just he didn't want to escalate the situation.
He's like,
And
hey, you want the ball? Take the ball.
yeah, if you are this person, then by all means, just take it, just have it. Like just get out of my face, get away from my daughter, have the baseball. And that's probably where 10 years ago it would have escalated into a screaming match for me.
Probably.
If that happens to me today, I probably deal with the same way that father did. And it was impressive.
And generally, I'm not a very confrontational person. So when it does come down to it, right, like especially when it comes to physical confrontation, like that was not going to happen. Yeah, it might have gotten a little loud. It might have gotten a little talky. But at the point where I realized that there's no winning with this person, yeah, I mean, you just got to let them win in the moment and move on.
Yeah, what's the old saying? You'll never win an argument with a stupid person because they'll drag you down to their level and beat you with their experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's
All right, we went completely off the rails, which is pretty
yes.
standard. All right, awesome. All right, so looking back, Utah State, the weekend that what the game that was, and then maybe taking that and combining it with what we saw with UTSA, right? So our two-game body of work.
Yeah.
Where are you right now with this team? Like, what is like the thing that you like that you've seen the most over two games, not just one? So we can't just say like,
Right.
something that happened in one game. So what have you seen over two games that you like the most? And then what is the one thing that you have seen that concerns you going into South Bend?
So right now, what I like is I've seen progression in terms of the run game from game one to game two. That was good to see. It sure seemed like we were a lot more on top of that going into this second game, and appreciated that. Um, Consistent in terms of scoring points and scoring points in a decent click. I mean, we put up 40 plus in both games. We're averaging 43 points a game. Not crying about that. Happy to see.
And not with the starters playing all four quarters either.
Exactly. So that was nice to see. And of course, Marcel getting pulled from the game, putting Miles O'Neal, I think that was the right move. That was good to see. I think positives, big for me. Obviously, I said running game is a good start. Passing game still solid. I think there's maybe a little miscommunication still happening here and there that needs to get cleaned up. But other than that, offensively, I'm not too worried.
Yeah, I
Um,
think in the past game, there's still meat on the bone, man.
there is. Um,
And they've looked good. I'm not like, and I'm not knocking the passing game by any means. It's just, I think there's a lot of potential with this passing offense.
there is. Run defense, points given up. Those are
Yeah.
two concerns that are going to continue to hamper my optimism going into tougher play coming up because the teams that we just played, they're not going to have the same tools that we're going to start seeing down the road here in the next few weeks.
Right. And I think, and we talked about this a little bit last week, the difference between having a bye or having to play. And I just keep coming back to the fact that if I were Notre Dame with a brand new squeaky clean quarterback, I would have rather him had gotten a second start under his belt. So I do think there's an advantage there. I don't care that we gave him more tape. We didn't give him much to look at. We played
No.
Utah State and we played the backups. And thankfully, Trey Zune and Marcel Reed, is just precautionary more than anything, unless they're just lying to our faces, but I doubt they are.
I think they'll be okay.
With everybody good to go, for me, I would probably say specifically what I've liked over the last two games is what appears to be the second year bump in progression of Marcel Reed.
Yep.
I say progression, going through his progressions, staying in the pocket, not getting happy feet. And I'll draw a direct line kind of to Carr at Notre Dame, where he seems to be the opposite because he's new, he's fresh, we've seen it, right? It happens, but he gets happy feet. Like you don't get through your progressions, you're trying to go through them too fast, and so you're like, I got to get out of here, and they just bolt out of the pocket when there were plays to be made and receivers that were open. And so we're seeing, we're seeing that with Carr. Or I mean, it was only one game, but we saw it with Carr. We saw it a little last year with Marcel Reed, and I think his comfort in the pocket is massive. Like he's in the pocket, he's going through his reads, he's going through his progressions, and I think that has been probably the biggest thing that I've seen that I've loved outside of obviously the wide receivers are bonkers. It has been a long time since we had really, really good receivers,
Well, I was
like
about to
not
say,
one, but
I
multiple.
mean, the two guys that we brought in, somebody pulled up a stat somewhere, but basically, like they outgained like previous, like last year's receivers, like up through a certain amount of games, like already. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Like that progression of the offense, especially in the past game, has been very nice to see, and I hope that continues.
Yeah, I think it's just those two guys. They're combined. They're north of 400 already.
It's crazy. They're already.
That's we don't see that at A&M, right? Like we just don't. So that's been really great. For me, I'd probably have to stick with it too. Yeah, run defense. It's um, just missed assignments leading to big plays, and it's against teams that you shouldn't be giving up big plays to. And now all of a sudden you're staring down the barrel of Price and Jeremiah Love, who what they combined for like 2,800 yards last year is what it felt like. Um, so it's one of the best running back tandems in the country. I gotta give credit where credit's due. Jeremiah Love and shoot Price could start at a ton of places.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a tall task, heading into South Bend, but we'll kind of get into that.
Yeah, we will.
But so I've got a little bit of a kind of a random question is like how much of A&M's defensive like success, I mean, would you say it's specifically because of the quality of opponents we're playing, or do you truly like are you seeing a progression in defense? And I will say from UTSA to Utah State, I did see a bit of a progression just
Yeah.
from game to game.
No, they definitely improved. I think there may have been moments of kind of sleepwalking in the UTSA game. It certainly felt like that because we saw how they developed and got better in the second half of that game. A&M did a great job, I think, over the course of both games, just making sure that they were well out in front of where they needed to be, but not playing, I think, with enough intentionality, especially when it comes down to just containment in the run game and containing big plays. You have to do that. It doesn't matter the opponent because any one of those players can just break out on you. I mean, we're going to be keying off on certain players throughout the season, but you got to keep your mind open to everybody else because you never know.
Yeah, yeah, I think I think it does have, something to do obviously with assignments and just missing assignments because
Sure,
generally big plays occur because somebody misses an assignment and tackling is an assignment.
it is.
Uh, so I just it's something I'd love to get cleaned up. Um, and what's funky is like both of them happened in the third, like the first drive out of the third, out of halftime. And that's weird
Right.
to me because outside of that, the defensive adjustments, I mean, we shut them down, like both teams down in the second half, minus the whoopsie daisy right at the beginning, right?
Well, I was about to say the big thing for me is like if I had to take one thing right now with this football team and change it immediately would be how do we come out of the locker room in the second half? Because 2 weeks in a row now, give up a big run. I mean they score on their first drive coming out of the half. Both teams did. And against Utah State, we kind of stumbled out of the gate and then they scored, right? So the question now becomes how do you get properly motivated to take the field at the most critical portion of the game? Those first 5 to 6 minutes of the third quarter are huge. And let's say we end up down the line, we're going to be in one of these tight games, and all of a sudden we just give up a early score there in the third quarter, and we just can't get our wheels rolling. That's going to be a tough hill to climb in the second half.
Yeah, whether at home or away, obviously more so on the road, but it just kind of takes the wind out of you. And on the road, the worst part is now you got the crowd into it, right? And and we know what the environments in the SEC are like. All of them can be rowdy, even the worst ones. Minus Missouri, it's still a high school stadium. Um, but South Bend, like I heard this morning, I think it was Richard Zane told me, it's like they're a wine and cheese crowd. You sit for the game, and but don't give them an excuse to get loud and get into the game. And they posed a question this morning. I kind of want to bring it here too because I'm curious on because I honestly I didn't really have an answer. I mean, I kind of had the general answer,
Sure.
but what can we do? What can we do to avoid a slow start?
Well, I think the big thing, obviously, if we're starting on defense, get that three and out. It's huge. Get that early three and out, show some authority on the line. And then honestly, with an offensive drive, I'm all about wearing them down. I think you go back the other direction and just beat the hell out of him on a line, and that results in a touchdown. I think you have to be very forward thinking, and we are moving down the field. We're going to punch you in the mouth, and we're going to leave them kind of reeling a little bit. You want them to reevaluate their thought process.
So offensively, you would rather see us have like a 12 play drive that just wears them out, or would you rather first play over the top 70 yards? Like
You know,
which, I mean,
well,
I know,
on the road, on the road, I don't hate that because that does suck the life out of the stadium whenever you have a big, huge play to start the game. The only issue I have with that is that the moment that you have that big play, you've established a precedent. I think in my mind, like that's going to be the expectation.
yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, it goes both ways.
Sure.
Yeah, you want to shut somebody up, score on the first play. But at the same time, that doesn't necessarily take the crowd out of it just because they're like, all right, well, oops, we gave that up. We won't do that again.
Right.
So it doesn't necessarily take the crowd out of it as opposed to just churning out first downs and moving the chains and just whether
Right.
it's short passing, moderate passing,
And I don't
run
care. And
on
you know,
screens.
in particular, I don't care if it's a 1, 2, 3 first down, 1, 2, 3 first down, 1, 2, 3 first down, because that is absolutely demoralizing for a defense, knowing that
When you can't get off the field.
they can't get off the field, right? I mean, that's where my brain's at. You want to put the fear of the line on them, the fear of God in them, but you want to punch them in the mouth the whole way down the field and then go get that score and do it with some authority. I don't care if it's on the ground, I don't care if it's a pass, but yeah, I think you just got to go out there and punch them in the mouth early. So it's
Yeah, and to me, it's just one of those things where obviously on defense, there's probably a little bend, don't break. It's okay. Like if they get to the
sure
45 or 50, but you still force a punt, I still think that's just as effective.
it is.
And as far as like you have to score on your first drive, but I don't care if that's 3 points.
Yeah, but it's like score.
Just score. Obviously, you want to, you want to get six out of the first drive, but get points out of the first drive, right? Just get on the scoreboard and on the flip side of it, just keep them at zero for their first drive, whether that was before you had the ball or after you had the ball. If you go up like if we get the ball and we go up 3-0, they get the ball and they have to punt it to us. Now we're on our second shot already at scoring. And at that point, obviously you want to punch it in. But again, this isn't going to be a 60-55 kind of football game, anyways.
No,
So
I
there's
think I
there's going
think
to be a lot of drives that don't end in points.
well, see, yeah, I think that's definitely going to be the case. I just think that right out the gate, the most important thing you can do is go down and score because what that's going to do is establish in your head, right, that okay, we can score in this building. We know how to score in this building. This place is not the intimidating environment that we're all that worried about. We just got to go out there and do our job on this neutral field. And then the reality is there's going to be a ton of Aggies there. I mean,
Well, there's gonna be a
I've
lot of ags there, and Notre Dame is not known as like one of the most raucous places. It's a bucket list items. You have touchdown
absolutely,
Jesus. Notre Dame's been around forever. Everybody knows Notre Dame,
yeah,
right? You
I
could
wanted
probably
to go.
walk down the street in London and say, not the actual chapel in France, but do you know like Notre Dame American football? And they'll be like, oh
Sure.
yeah, everybody does.
Well, they were one of the very few teams that was always on TV. I mean, going all the way back because I mean, there was where you had the regional coverages and whatnot. They were still like NBC at that point, right?
Yeah.
They were
NBC basically
huge.
turned into NDC during football season because
Yeah,
literally every game they had, NBC carried. So
right.
that was, and it's, I mean, it's that look, they're
Their brand.
even when they are a blue blood brand 100%, no matter how
100%.
well or poorly they're playing. Notre Dame will always be Notre Dame. And
They
as
are.
much as that makes me want to barf saying it out loud, it's
Said,
true.
well, I mean, it's the same boat as them, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, hell, throw Texas in there. There's a list of teams that are just the established blue bloods in college football. And Notre Dame's right at the top of that list historically, with national titles, with consistent winning seasons, playoff appearances, bowl wins, etc. That's just what they are.
Unrecognizability as well. And to an extent,
Yeah.
you might be able to even throw USC in there.
Yeah.
They're
Historically.
just great programs, had success, whether or not that's been recent or not. It just people don't forget about that stuff.
No.
When was the last time Notre Dame won a national title?
80, 89?
Yeah.
Been a
So
while.
all right. So going off kind of what we were talking about with the The run defense being a concern. So if we can't stop them early, like what does Elko do? Like what adjustments do we make? Like is this a game where and to me this is my opinion obviously, but I believe that we we can really stack the box because I want to force Carr to throw. He's still a
Right.
new quarterback. I believe in our secondary and pass coverage. And I think the immediate adjustment is start stacking the box and force them to throw the ball. And I'm not saying they're a bad football team. They got
No.
talent. It's Notre Dame. They always have talent, but
But do the
force
same
a
thing
new
that
quarterback.
UTSA did to us.
Right. Force a new quarter. Well, but we have Marcel.
Right. Exactly.
Right. And so, like, if running game becomes a problem, I think the adjustment has to be immediate. I think you have to stack the box and just make Carr beat you because if you stack the box, Carr's also, for the most part, not going to be able to escape either. I think he's a gutsy quarterback. I think he's got some wheels. But if you can force him to throw the ball more so than you would probably like him to, I think that's where you can really take advantage on the defensive side. It's
Right.
just, I really don't want to get to the point where we have to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer we don't either. I prefer we just go out there and do our jobs, and everybody does a great job covering their assignments. They do a great job tackling. They limit the big plays, and we don't let we don't let Notre Dame get much closer than field goal range. That would be ideal over the course of the whole game. You got to force them into risky passes, into risky situations, create turnovers, and that's a big thing too. Create those turnover opportunities. If you see an opportunity to strip the ball, strip it. If you have a chance to jump in front of an errant ball, catch it. And I think the big one for us, honestly, is as much as we didn't talk about it a ton this past week, penalties on the road. You got to be smart with those penalties. You can't allow any kind of false starts, no stupid holds, because, I mean, God, nothing kills a drive quicker than a personal foul on the offense or a hold. That will bury your drive.
Oh, absolutely. On the road, you just can't shoot yourself in the foot on the road. You've got to force opportunities. Yeah. Speaking of turnovers, though, I have been really happy with where we have been
Yeah.
offensively and hold like just ball security, taking
Yes.
care of the ball.
Yes.
If this is a team that can maintain that throughout and you're going to have turnovers in the season. I mean, if you go through an entire season without a turnover, you're probably playing the national
Right.
championship.
We already had one, and it was, backup O'Neal, and a lot of people were claiming that, well, I mean, based on the video, sure looked like he got hit as he threw it, so it was going to be a hair off line from where he wanted
I'm
it.
talking more along the lines of starters.
Exactly.
Like the guys that we're going to be seeing playing 99% of the time from here
Yeah.
on out, pretty much, minus what? Stanford? Is that our last one? Stanford, sure.
Yeah,
I don't
Samford.
know.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Well, see, here's the deal. And O'Neal even made up for it with that was an impressive touchdown pass that he had.
That kid can sling the ball.
Yeah.
He's going to be fun to watch. I really enjoy watching him in the spring game, quite
Yeah,
frankly.
me too. I mean, I was thinking he was going to at least. I mean, he might have given Marcel a little run, but Marcel's our guy, and you got a very capable backup, and that's always a good thing to have. But um, yeah, I guess we'll just have to see how that pans. I'm praying that we do go out there and do our jobs on the defensive side of the ball. We limit those big plays. We force three and outs. We force a couple turnovers. You got to go out there and impose your will. You got to find a way.
Well, so excuse me. So we just covered all three of these. So here's a question between penalties, turnovers, and missed assignments. Which of those three concerns you the most going in South Bend?
Missed assignments.
Yeah, I think
That,
so.
that's where I'm at because you've seen it happen to lesser teams. If you're going to be dealing with better players, that could potentially compound the issue if you're not doing a good job with your assignments. So that's my main concern. I mean, penalties are always going to piss me off. They just do.
Yeah, but a penalty can't go 75 yards for a touchdown.
Exactly. But a running back who cuts and all of a sudden a linebacker or corner somebody misses that tackle, off to the races he goes. And you got to be careful.
Yeah.
You got to be careful. So,
I got a ton of I got a ton of questions about this game, honestly.
sure.
Is this game about proving our ceiling or is it about like revealing our floor? Like
Well,
if we lose, is it just good old Texas 8-4 again? Or
yeah.
if we win, is it we start talking about dark horse, playoff contender or playoff contender in general? Oh,
What was that?
probably a ghost.
Ooh,
Something on my desk just moved, and I'm not down with that.
it was spooky.
Dude, it is not spooky season yet. We need to talk to my neighbors about putting up their stinking Halloween decorations. Bro,
Time out.
and I like Halloween decorations.
I do too. I have a neighbor that's over on an adjacent street. They have been set up since mid-August.
Nope,
I wish I was
nope.
kidding.
See,
Skeletons everywhere. I mean, they're all about it.
like if Halloween is your jam, like by all means, like Christmas is my jam. We've been through this a million times. But you know
October
when I put up
1st.
Christmas, when I put up Christmas, I put it up the day after Thanksgiving. All right.
Yeah.
It's a family tradition. We get up first thing, get everything out of the attic, and we put up Christmas the day after Thanksgiving. So that is approximately 30 days from Christmas. You are currently 50 days from Halloween.
Yeah. Like they're well set up, man. I got the video as I was walking past them because I was like, that is insanity. Like, my
Yeah.
God, don't get me wrong, I love holidays and I do love Halloween, but I don't need to be seeing Halloween decorations before my birthday, which is coming up on the 24th, right? Like that is insanity.
That would basically be Thanksgiving, like the 24th
Right.
of September to October 31st. That's basically Thanksgiving to Christmas. Fine,
Basically.
fine, fine. But Mojumbo.
Well, see, my thought process always been October 1st.
Yeah, apparently it was September 1st this year. And this is like the same concept as you go into Lowe's and they've already got Christmas stuff up.
They do. I mean, they have Halloween and Christmas stuff up at the moment. That's what
Sorry,
did we do?
my little old man yells at clouds tirade that I apparently seem to go on weekly.
Thank you for attending our latest episode of Roy's Rants.
It's our favorite.
You want to know what really grinds my gears?
Yeah, that's my favorite segment. I mean, we're allowed to be old men yelling at clouds at times because we're getting to that point.
Yeah. Did we even talk about the question about the ceiling or the floor?
No, we didn't. So
How did we get on Halloween? What's happening?
I don't even know. But talk about A&M ceiling or floor. I mean, I think honestly that the thing about this game that fascinates me was a quote that just came from Peter Burns. I'm not sure if you saw what he had to say.
Oh, was that a couple of days ago on X?
Yeah, basically he said that the story of the college football season after this weekend is going to be Texas A&M football. In my head, that's a good and a very, very bad thing because the story could be anything. I mean,
See, yeah, he is hedging he's hedging. That's all
he's
he's
got a
doing.
little bit.
Because one way or the other, well, and we talked about it a little bit this morning on the fan show as well. If we go up there and we beat them handily, like 14 or more points, right? We can I mean, if you win
Sure.
by 2 touchdowns or more on the road, you're kind of blowing somebody out of the water.
Yeah.
I get this feeling, and some of this is maybe BAS, and some of this is reality because I've watched this sport and I've read about this sport for literally since I can remember. So at least 38 years, maybe 38. Yeah, eight. Yeah, I can probably remember all the way back to about 8 years old.
Yeah.
Well, the narrative won't be so much A&M went and took care of business in South Bend. It'll be, man, Notre Dame really sucks.
So I think this is twofold, right? Because I mean, you've got a Notre Dame team who had to go on the road at Miami, who we have both agreed is a good team.
Yes, they are.
They're a good team, and yeah, fought them well, and unfortunately, just couldn't get it done at the end. Right now, Notre Dame loses this game.
Oh, real quick. I want to go back. I know it's been a couple of weeks, but that Notre Dame Miami game was a really good game to watch.
It was a great game.
If you don't have any stock in that game, that was a fantastic football game. Carr, he started making throws in the second half. That game tying drive was a gutsy drive.
It was.
Notre Dame defense went into like the softest zone on the planet, let Miami just march down and kick a field goal. Sorry, I had to get that out. Like, I'm not saying Carr is this mistake prone rookie.
No.
Like, he showed that he can move the ball. He showed that he can move the team against the Miami team. Like we said, we think's really good. So does everybody else because they're number 5 in the country.
Yep. We did get another question while we were chatting here, so we have 2 on the list now. But basically, I think this could be a good indication of A&M's progression because the big thing for me right now, and this is a big stat, ranked wins on the road. Did you realize that A&M has not won ranked game on the road since 2014, and that was against Auburn when they were number 3?
Yeah, it's when you look at it, the streak is not enviable by any means.
No.
it'll be if we lose, it'll be the same old, right? Here's Texas A&M. They're probably going to go 8-4, 9-3, 9-4 after a bowl game.
Mhm.
And so I'm not saying this is one of the biggest games, in recent history, but it's probably pretty close to up there, especially as it pertains to the national perspective of Texas A&M as a program. Is
Exactly.
Mike Elko the guy that is going to turn this corner for Texas A&M, or is Mike Elko just another coach that's trying to get this program that no matter who's in charge can't seem to get turned around and win these important games? So
Right.
there are about a million different storylines that are going to come out of this, and we're probably only going to like about seven of them.
Yeah, and see that's just my issue right here. Is like I would love to see this team come out here, do themselves a good uh, do themselves a good favor in terms of getting that solid win on the road. I think that would establish that we are moving in the right direction as a program. Absolutely. Now, granted, the other side of it, you will hear folks from uh, Texas, from the rest of the SEC, from national pundits. There's going to be discussion that largely the narrative will probably be about Notre Dame, unless we blow them out. And I think if A&M blows out Notre Dame on the road, that is going to turn some heads, no question.
Well, and see, I think that goes both ways though. Like
Right.
if we go up there and just blow their doors off, all of a sudden people are going, one, Notre
Yeah.
Dame's 0-2. Like, are they
Right.
actually any good? And then
Right.
they go, is Miami any good? And a lot of that narrative can be shaped by the USF Miami game this weekend that we're going to get into in our picks.
Right.
Uh,
So I think
so
the big yeah.
there's a million different ways to go with this. If we get up there and win a tight one, if we beat them by the same exact score as Miami did, like, are we as good as Miami? Because we did it in South Bend. Or, it's probably the BAS flaring up. And I don't generally have BAS. I'm generally a sunshine pumper. But relative to the national perspective of Texas A&M, I think it's completely fair to have at least some sort of percentage of BAS, knowing that they're going to be able to spin these narratives in some way, shape, or form. That even if we're successful, like, we won't get full credit for an important win.
No.
The problem is we're not going to know anything about Notre Dame because after us, they don't play anybody. So
Right. Exactly.
I mean, they could go 10-2, lose their only two, games against teams with a pulse.
Yeah.
And then you're going, does Notre Dame belong in the playoffs? And everybody's going to go, have you seen the golden helmet?
Right. Well, I mean, we saw that happen in hell. We saw that happen in 2020. That's exactly what
Yes,
happened to us.
we did.
And so the reality is, we're going to look at us as a program, and the reality is the perception is not going to be positive towards us outside of us doing our job the whole rest of the season. If you go undefeated, hell, if you go 11-1, I
If
mean, that's
if
huge.
you, I think for us, or for me, or us, I don't know, maybe you think this way. Um, if you go and beat Notre Dame, no matter how you beat them, right? And because you went to South Bend to do it, so that in and of itself is big because
It
they
is.
basically lost by a field goal on the road, and home advantage is worth 3 points,
It is.
right? You play that in a neutral site, they may still be playing overtimes, right?
Right.
Uh, but if you go on the road, and I'm going to look down the schedule a little bit, but if you go on the road and beat Notre Dame, and then Notre Dame starts winning again, right?
Yeah.
Doing what Notre Dame's supposed to do against the opponents they're playing.
Right.
And two, you're able to beat Auburn. Now all of a sudden, that's when I think that would be a point where the narrative would truly change, and they go, "Hey, man, you need to look at A&M because I think Auburn might be actually pretty good this year to begin with."
Well, yeah.
So and I know that's kind of down the road. I love the fact that we get a bye after this week, other than the fact that I've never liked buys because I just want to see A&M play all the time.
Right.
But I love where the buy is placed for us. Right before knock everything off. You get any dings, nicks or dings in this game. You got an extra week to get healthy, get right for Auburn.
And get ready for
But
SEC.
I in no way am I looking past Notre Dame, but I'm just saying, like, relative to the national perspective of us, if we win, Notre Dame's 0-2, and everybody's just going to be questioning Notre Dame,
Right.
unless we go up there and Marcel just shows out,
Right.
and then that we'll get a little bit more. If it's a kind of a team win and we win by 6, I think a lot more of the narrative will be on, is Notre Dame any good this year, as opposed to A&M just went out in South Bend and beat Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I think the turning point nationally would be something that would occur maybe another game or two down the schedule.
So to answer your question, I think there's a potential for both. I think there's a good chance it'll show our floor, good chance it'll show our ceiling. Either way, I think the important thing here is you go out there and you put on a good effort. And
try to win that game best you can because Notre Dame's not going to be an easy opponent. It's going to be a tough road matchup for us, and we just got to go
Yeah,
out there and do our job.
losing to Miami on the road by 3 by no means makes you a bad football team.
No, it absolutely doesn't.
I don't care that Notre Dame is 0-1. They're a good football team. There's a reason they're ranked ahead of us, at least for now, for what we know, right? From preseason rankings and what all the pundits, that's where they get voted, minus apparently a couple of AP voters who are just complete morons.
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
All right, now about time to get into our picks from last week. So Roy's got those lined up.
I do. I'm a old school pen to paper guy. Um, uh, Happy to report that we didn't suck as bad this week.
No, we did not.
First week was brutal, man. We went 2-4. Both of us went 2-4.
Yeah.
This week we both went 4-2, so we flipped the script, right? Both picked Illinois to beat Duke. Both picked the Cyclones in El Assico, and it was 16-13 El Assico. Like that
Perfect.
is that outside of having like a scoregami, that's a perfect El Assico.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, they hit it out of the park for that for us on that one.
Both picked OU to beat Michigan. I'm still not sold on OU.
Sure.
Because I don't think Michigan's that good.
And that's where my brain went. I was like, I don't know about Michigan.
I don't know if OU is bad. I just don't think Michigan's good.
Sure.
Then we parted ways on the next two picks. You did pick State. I picked the Sun Devils.
Yep.
So good pick on that. You picked SMU, Southern Millionaires University. I picked Baylor.
I'm a little irritated because SMU had this and they freaking blew it. That's not on me. That's all on them. Leave it to the Methodists to ruin my day.
Robert McKean. Waiting on the Presbyterians to come out of church.
Give them something to talk about on their way to Luby's.
Yeah, and then yet again, we blow it on the Ags covering.
Yeah.
I'm never picking the Ags to cover a cupcake again. Never. And if I lose all those picks, then I'll just be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. I mean, okay, you won the game. That's all that really mattered at the end of the day. And you
well, you won it by a good number of points.
Yes.
Beating Utah State 24-21 would not have been.
I agree.
Would not have been kosher.
You were 22 points off. That's fine.
Yeah. You're averaging 40 some odd points a game. That's fine.
Just
the cover was 28.5. I mean, that's a monster number, right?
It is.
In a college world landscape where there is talent on other teams, not like it used to be, kind of thing, right?
So that puts us both at 500.
We are both 6-6, so we are pleasantly mediocre.
God, my favorite.
But hey, in baseball, we'd be batting 500, and that's Hall of Fame material.
I mean, if you bat 500 your whole career, that's incredible.
Like Michael Hillman's about to.
Well, yeah, no kidding. So irritating.
Right.
Wrong team.
All right, so there's a really good slate of games this week, and I'm going to start with one that we're actually not going to pick. I just want to talk about it real quick. I did not see the line on this one because we weren't picking it, but the Florida at LSU game. In fact, we were chatting about this, I think, before we went live. I would want to be Billy Napier right now, man. Of course, how many years have we said that? But dude, to lose to USF, we'll get to that pick actually.
Yeah.
I'll talk about USF. But to drop a game against USF when you're Florida.
Yeah, directional Florida school.
Just in and of itself is unacceptable no matter how good USF is. It's going to be unacceptable to your fan base. Can Florida bounce back in Death Valley? I think this game comes down specifically to which Garrett Nussmeier they get.
No.
Yeah,
LSU's going to beat that ass like a drum.
Yeah.
Florida's going to have their moments, but I think LSU is a significantly better football team this year. It's a rivalry, so there's always going to be some outside factors, but
maybe we can get a shoe throwing or something like that.
Give me anything.
Yeah, give me something. I think LSU beats them soundly too. That's why I didn't really want to pick it because I think we both would have just been on LSU.
Florida man versus Louisiana man is always an entertaining deal. So I hope that maintains.
Probably more so in the stands than on the field this year.
Exactly. It's my favorite. I'm excited. We'll see how that one pans.
All right. So first one on the shoot is number 12 Clemson at Georgia Tech. Clemson is a 3.5 point favorite.
Mm-hmm.
So 6 on a neutral field kind of thing. I think I might have been wrong. I don't know if Clemson's good this year.
Yeah, I mean they struggled last week with Troy.
Yeah, and that's not the kind of bounce back you would expect after losing the opener.
No, they struggled mightily against Troy.
I mean, they got it right, and and won the game. When it all came out in the wash. This is a tricky game, man. I like Georgia Tech. I think that if this were in Clemson, my thoughts might be different. But I'm going to take Georgia Tech to win this game.
I'm with you,
And
100%.
what's weird is a lot of the models are doing that as well.
Yeah, they're favoring Georgia Tech in this match, and I don't blame them. Plus, I mean, I will forever have a soft spot for Haynes King. I understand he got run out of here in his own little way at times, but man, he's a good quarterback, and he showed it.
And he's found success there.
He has.
All right,
I'm
next
happy for
matchup.
him.
We talked about this. Number 18 USF on the road at number 5 Miami. I don't think USF is scared of anybody, and I think they might. I don't think that they're like the darling group of 5 that everybody's trying to pump up. I think USF might be pretty good.
Well, I mean, USF at this point, what they have 2 wins over ranked opponents. Who else can say that this year?
I Probably not anybody.
I mean, they took care. I mean, they beat the absolute dog out of Boise State. That wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they turn around and had a tough fight with Florida, but you win, and you win on at the Swamp, which is
Yeah.
historically a very very tough place to go in and just win at.
You're on the road against a team that across the board has better talent than you.
Yes.
That's a fact. Florida
Mhm.
out recruits USF
Yep.
every year.
2 ranked
10 out of
wins,
10 times.
cruising.
So, but we also think that Miami's a pretty damn good team.
Exactly.
And it's at Miami.
Yep.
Um, I'm tempted to pick this against the spread because the spread is 17.5. That is that's like that's an offensive spread if I'm USF.
I agree because I think USF's way better than 17.5.
So let's pick this one against the spread. Let me write that down. So we'll pick this one against the spread because I don't know that USF can go in and beat that Miami team in Miami. I don't.
Out,
Miami fans, if they win, they show up and they beat Notre Dame. They're winning, so like it'll be as hostile of an environment as that place can be.
yeah.
Being what like 40 minutes from the actual campus or however far it is.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
me, I mean, it's gonna be like if we're going off the spread, I'm gonna pick USF. I think if I'm picking head straight up, it's gonna be Miami. I think it's
yeah,
gonna
let's
be
pick
tight
against
game.
since the spread is so big. Let's go against the spread.
Yeah, no, I think USF covers.
All right. For all I said about USF, Miami is really, really good.
They're good.
Like legit good.
Yeah,
Um,
but I think they can keep it within 2 scores. I really
I
think,
I could see Miami covering though. Like I could see Miami just beating USF down.
and they might.
But like it's same concept, better talent across the board than USF. But is Cristobal really got like it's I don't ugh. You know what? I'm gonna pick USF to cover.
There you go. That's where I was.
I don't think they cover by a lot.
No, I think 2 scores.
Yeah, for me, this would be like a 13.5 point spread.
Yeah.
Like that's where I think you'd see the most action if you wanted to set a line that because I mean 17 that's a big number against the 18th ranked team in the country.
Yeah, that's a long line.
All right, next up we got Vandy on the road in Columbia playing South Carolina, playing the Gamecocks. South Carolina is a 3.5 point favorite, which means this is a push on a neutral field.
It is.
I was shocked to see this line so low, quite frankly, because if you don't believe in Lenora Sellers, it's because you ain't never seen him play.
Sellers is a great quarterback, and he's got great stats on the year.
and it's at home, sandstorm. Yeah, it's a weird stadium, but it's a tough place to play. Like South Carolina fans are rabid, and they've been wanting this for so long, and now that they have it, like they are not screwing around when it comes to fan support. It's going to
No,
be electric.
yeah, no. South Carolina's been building on that, and yeah, they had a slow start in that game against South Carolina State, but that is nothing to take away with how they responded in the second and the third quarters. Absolutely did their job. And at this point, another impressive win at a neutral site against Virginia Tech on the year. And if you look at Vanderbilt, I mean, also 2-0. I mean, they're cruising along. They're off to a great start. They also they have a common opponent with Virginia Tech, and they beat them 44-20.
What
At
world we live in where Vandy's decent?
I mean, Vandy's decent, and I mean, Vandy went on the road to Blacksburg and beat them by 22 points. Well, I mean,
Yeah, I'm not
24.
necessarily sold on VTech, um,
I
but
mean,
yeah, I mean, an impressive win nonetheless.
yeah.
I think this is just, and it's not sneaky good game because it's 3.5 point spread. So everybody expects this game. Speak it, spit it out, guy.
English is hard.
Yeah, it is. So it's going to be close game. It should be, but Lenore Sellers is just he's such a game changer considering what they lost and that they're still being successful. That said, I'm taking Vandy to win on the road.
I could see that, absolutely. And I will differ with you. I will say South Carolina wins, but that's strictly due to the fact that it's at was it Bryce?
Bryce,
I don't remember the second half of it, but Bryce.
Bryce
Yeah.
Williams,
Yeah,
something like
Bryce
that.
Williams. Yeah. I think the fact that it's at Bryce Williams and it's going to be a night game and it's going to be rocking and rolling. I'm South Carolina. I think had this been on a neutral field, I probably would pick Vanderbilt. But I think and I'm trying my absolute best to look at that common opponent and sit here and say, well, South Carolina scored less points, but Vanderbilt gave up more points. It's like
Transitive properties never work in
they
sports.
never do. So my brain is, I don't know. I'm thinking South Carolina.
I think part of my I think part of mine is just emotion. Like I'd love to see Vandy go on the road and beat them.
Me too. I mean, I would love to see Vanderbilt win, but at the same time, if I was having to bet money, I'd say South Carolina. So
Yeah,
Gamecocks.
yeah. Bet with your heart, and bet with your money are two different things.
Yep. So good.
Okay, so I picked this one. It's 7.5 point spread, but it's it's not a top 25 matchup. One of the teams is in the top 25. But Arkansas at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is 7.5 point favorites at home. Ole Miss is ranked 17th in the country. This is one of those games where something weird always happens.
Yeah, I mean, historically, you've seen that happen multiple times in this game. I mean, like what that throw that ended up extending overtime or whatever it was, or like right at the end of the game. I can't remember exactly what happened that year, but yeah, you're talking Arkansas and Ole Miss. I mean, that is historically a very fun game.
What do we know about Arkansas so far, honestly?
Not
You know,
much. They finally played Arkansas State in a
that's
football game.
that's completely insane to me that they'd never played.
They
That's
had
like
never played. I didn't know that.
that's completely insane to me.
Yeah,
That's like U of H and Rice not playing.
yeah, that's insanity. I mean, you're talking like the two bigger colleges in Arkansas, and they never played each other. That's
I mean,
crazy.
might be the only two.
Yeah. I mean, they got Pine Bluff. I wouldn't call them much of a football team. They didn't exactly they did not play a football game against Texas Tech in week one. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, they are absolutely a paycheck school.
Oof.
Yeah, I mean, who's Arkansas played? Arkansas State and some other Patsy, right?
Yeah, I think they haven't really had a lot on their
I can't remember. I
resume.
want to
Yeah,
say
it was
they had.
Alabama A&M.
Yeah, so they haven't played anybody. They looked great playing nobody. I mean, they've looked great. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
Um,
But they do every year. That's one thing Arkansas has always historically done well is do well against those weaker opponents. But the moment they actually get into it,
yeah, it's just
so
soul crushing to be a hog.
yeah,
This one's kind of easy for me. I'm gonna take Ole Miss.
I'm
Uh,
saying. I mean,
Ole Miss doesn't generally lose a game they're not supposed to until later in the season.
yeah, and once again at home. They they took care of business against Kentucky last week. Probably a little tighter than it probably should have been, but they've already dipped their toes and won their first SEC game, and they're feeling it. So yeah,
Right.
miss.
All right, so that brings us to our game. Number 16, Texas A&M travels South Bend to take on number 8 Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, the one of the banes of my college football existence. I can't stand Notre Dame. I got to grow up watching us play them in the Cotton Bowl all the time. Um, so before we pick this, I've got two questions for you, and I'm very curious. Uh, so what's the one stat that we're not talking about that could decide this game? And it can be any kind of stat, not passing yards, like stuff like red zone trips, starting field position, explosive plays, like pocket pressure, or you set in a pocket. Like it can be in a kind of an off the wall stat.
Special teams return yards.
Return yards. Okay.
I want to see special teams. I mean, I highly doubt we're going to see as streak into the end zone as we've seen previous, but I could see us getting in solid field position off of stops further back in the zone. And if we can position ourselves well on offense to go out there and take care of our business with good field position off of returns, I'm going to feel pretty good. I think that is something that is certainly a hope on my end.
Yeah, I think there's more likelihood that it happens in the punt game as opposed to the kicking game.
Exactly.
Yeah. Um, yeah. For me, it's explosive plays, but that's on both sides of the ball.
Right.
Outpacing them in explosive plays.
Yes.
And whether that's 20 plus yards or 30 plus yards, 3 yards or more kind of plays, or whether that's our explosive plays go for touchdowns, your explosive plays are just like 35-yard runs. So
Right.
it's kind of a little bit of a both kind of thing. But for me, it's just the explosive plays because we've seen it, against lesser opponents, and we know that Notre Dame certainly has the capability to have those, to produce those plays. So for me, it's going to be explosive plays. I think turnover wise, I don't foresee there being a lot of turnovers in this game. And so it's not something, I mean, as soon as I say that, right?
Right.
But so I think both teams are good ball security in that sense. So for me, it's really the explosive play factor, and especially how that translates to us being able to take the crowd out of the game.
Yeah, and I think those are huge. Anytime you have any kind of explosive play, I mean that is immediately going to suck some energy away. Like,
Yeah.
it happens every time. It happens to us. It happens to every team on the planet.
Yep. All right. This one's a two-parter. So what player outside of Marcel Reed, and this can be offense or defense, is going to have the biggest impact on this game? And if that player gets neutralized, what's your plan B? I know I'm coming with the heat this week.
I would like to see Torian York go off. I want to see him do
Okay.
his job in the backfield and really kind of lock it down. And if he's not doing a great job in his containment, I think exactly what you're saying before, as far as like loading the box, force them to pass.
Okay.
I would think those.
I think for me, who I think needs to have the biggest impact, I don't know if he's going to or not, but who needs to have the biggest impact is Le'Veon Moss.
I agree with that one too, on the offensive side for sure.
We have got to be, yeah, it can be offense or defense.
Sure.
We have got to be able to run the ball and establish the run. That's just you have to, especially considering what we've seen in the improvements in the passing game. If we can establish the run, and it maybe not just running the ball, the swing passes, get him out in the flat and letting him just wreck shop.
Put him to work.
What do they always say? Put your best players in space, give them the ball, and see what happens.
Yep.
And I would love to see Le'Veon Moss be that guy. If it's not Le'Veon Moss, I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit, but I need it to be either Craver or Concepcion.
Sure.
And that kind of feeds back into we were talking about, explosive plays.
Mhm.
Those guys are explosive. And
Yeah.
those are the kind of guys, it's like the Texas offense model from last year. Throw the ball 6 yards and let them go 80.
Yeah. I mean, and if they
Right.
find the seam to do it, by all means, just put them to work. Just give them an opportunity to get down the field, get some explosive plays, and find a way to win.
Yeah. I mean, if we have two explosive plays and they have none, I'm good with that.
That's a great start. Yeah. Fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, that said, you got to pick, man.
I'm not going off of I'm going completely right down the middle with what I said at the start of the season. Notre Dame wins. I pray they don't. I think we've got some opportunities to find a way to win this game. But I have a feeling that there's going to be too many either explosive plays or the ball bounces the wrong way or there's stupid penalties
and we get in our heads on the road, if we can break away from that, I will feel a lot better about this team moving forward. But as it stands with what I have seen on the field so far, we lose to Notre Dame.
All right, fair enough.
Who
Well,
you
that's it for the picks, man.
who
We
you
got
who'd
some
you, who'd you
questions?
pick?
Huh?
Who are you picking?
What the hell you think I'm picking?
I know you're picking A&M, but I wanted you to say it.
Yeah, I'm picking the Ags. Even though when we went through the season schedule one by one earlier, I said we lose this game. I did not take into account that I am now 2 weeks into drinking maroon Kool-Aid.
Fair enough.
I'm going to take the Ags. We finally get we break this streak of not being able to make these wins. I think Marcel Reed comes out of this an absolute star.
I hope so.
And I think and I think we win the game maybe somewhere in the realm of like 28-21, kind of similar to how Miami did it. I'm not saying we're as good as Miami, but I just think this game sets up well for us. I think Mike Elko is the guy, and I think we go to South Bend and pull it off.
I
If we
pray
get
that we do.
Yeah, if we get to 30 points, we win. Period.
Yeah, I pray that we do. For the love of God, prove me wrong. I am happy to take a loss on
You
my
win, you
weekly
win either
picks.
way. Either you get your pick right or the Ags win. So you win either way.
Exactly. That's why I don't put money bets on A&M ever.
Oh,
Yes.
never. No,
Either
no,
way,
no.
I win.
No,
Either
never.
way, I win.
All right, we got a couple questions.
We did have a couple of questions. I'll go ahead and start with Jonna because she fired in here while we were going. She said, dang it, just now seeing this. But dream college football road trip and one stadium that you would avoid like the plague.
Um, I'll start with the stadium to avoid. For atmosphere, I would say Missouri because it just sucks. Like it literally, it's a big Texas high school football stadium is what it feels like. It's very high schoolish across the board.
Yeah.
But the stadium, well, you know what? This is probably a coin flip for me. Um, it's either Mississippi State because of the stinking cowbells,
Awful.
or it's Death Valley because of the student section. And it's not because they're loud and rowdy, it's because they're kind of crappy. Like,
See, LSU for me is at the top of the list for multiple reasons. One, every story I've ever heard, even outside of the student section, it just gets nasty in that stadium, especially if a rival is involved. It's not a good time. If you're an A&M fan, if you're an Arkansas fan, if you're a Florida fan, if you're an Ole Miss fan, if you're an Alabama fan, it's going to be a rough trip. That is something that has just become standard at Death Valley. Having been to Mississippi State, I can stress that Davis Wade sucks. I hate the Cowbells. Absolute misery. If you're going to go to that game, make sure you got some good ear protection because we can't make enough voice noise on our own. We got to rely on a noisemaker.
yeah.
Boing, 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 boing.
College football, like dream road trip. I mean, my dream road trip would be to drive to Atlanta this year on January 20th. But yeah, it's kind of hard. Like I had the opportunity to rotate through all the schools in the West. Didn't really get a good like rotation in the East. Dream road trip would be like catching an 11 a.m. in Gainesville and then hopping a plane and like catching the night game in Athens or Knoxville. So like packing it into one day, but like hitting two in one day. I mean, I could talk about going to a whiteout at Penn State. I don't think I'm as high on that as a lot of people are. I don't really have any desire to go to Ohio State. I mean, I'd like to go to the Big House,
Sure.
and maybe the Coliseum.
Yeah, I would say honestly for me, I mean, I'm kind of in a similar boat where it's like, well, my day game, like I said, we're gonna go off of this route. My day game, I'd like to do Penn State. I've heard great stories about Penn State as far as just the fan base is solid and their atmosphere is really good. And it's the only other student section that even comes close to matching us in number. So I want to go experience that.
Oh, I'm not disparaging Penn State by any means. Like the whiteout's cool, but
I'm not as worried about the whiteout. I mean, it'd be cool, but I know that the ticket trying to get in that building's hell. So I don't care. I would rather, do one game there, 11 o'clock. I don't care who they're playing. It could be Illinois. It could be whatever. They play a game up there. We come on down, and I want to go to Athens. I have
Yeah.
been, I mean, that's, a road match that has happened one time, and they've never been to Kyle Field, which is just blowing my mind at this point. With the new setup, which we haven't really talked about this much, but the early rumors that were, well, not even rumors at this point, we're going to a 9 game team schedule for the conferences going forward, and you get 3 permanent opponents, and you rotate everybody else every 2 years, and so you'll play the entire SEC every 2 years, be at every stadium every 4 years. That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm glad we're finally getting to that point because the idea that we have not been to Lexington and the fact that Georgia has not been here is crazy to me. We got
Yep.
we got to fix that. Um, but yeah, I would say that those are some dream road trips. That'd be a lot of fun. I really want to go to Athens. Um, this is one you might appreciate, actually. It's primarily directed towards me, but we'll go ahead and talk about it a little bit. So, Jive Coach G said Texas Monthly recently ran a story about punk rock in Texas in the late 70s and the early 80s. Pretty interesting rabbit hole to go down if you got the time. My question to y'all, are y'all into punk? And is that an influence on the music you, Rob, play and write? That's the first question. Um, I like punk. I mean, I enjoy punk rock, you know.
I think it's funny how the definition of punk rock has changed over the years.
It has a lot. I mean, because you got variations on punk. You got pop punk. You've got the British punk, there in the 70s and the 80s. That was kind of like what really drove the
It's like
punk thought process.
anti-establishment rock kind of thing.
Yes,
And
the
out of
Ramones.
yeah, and out of that came so many different genres. And some of it was music based, and then you had uh like when you talk about the anti-establishment part of it, like that's where psychobilly and rockabilly kind of came, and
Right.
even though they were in front of punk, like all these are just kind of intertwined.
They are.
Maybe they did precede punk, but to think like over the years what has been defined as punk rock, I don't know what it is now.
Well,
I would assume it's not too far off.
generally punk for me is just, it's the idea of you and your buddies getting in a garage and just rocking it out.
Yeah, like Green Day was punk at one point.
Well, yeah, I mean, then they became pop punk and,
Yeah.
but
Now they're just mainstream.
yeah, yeah. Now they're mainstream. Well, the same deal with Blink 182. I mean, they were
Mhm.
pop punk. Now they're more mainstream. Um, but yeah, I mean, if I appreciate punk rock as a genre, just as a whole, because it's cool. Kids go out there, play their music, and just play what they want to play. Crank up the amp, play the bass with a pick, and just go as fast as you can, jamming, and yeah, be a little rebellious. It's okay. There's not a thing wrong with that. We need more of that. And in fact, somebody made a really, really good point. They said, "Why haven't we had any like good punk rock music in like the last several years? Why is it all older bands?" I'm like, "Well, consider this. Where did the vast majority of punk rock start, especially in the United States? Bunch of kids at their parents' house in a garage.
The
Our
garage band,
generation
man.
doesn't own houses. We can't have our kids jamming out in a garage. Like it takes away the spirit of it. Like you're only going to go pull from what you know, which is Green Day, which is the Ramones, which is the Clash or whoever, right? Like that's where you're getting all of your influence from. It doesn't really resonate because it's not you and it's not real in the moment.
That's a pretty bold line to draw from the real estate market to punk rock. That's pretty funny.
Well, it's like, well, the thing is, like, I mean, a lot of folks in my generation, they just don't own houses. They just don't, and it's there's plenty that do, but it feels like the spirit of that is just not really around anymore. Like you just don't have it as much. But I appreciate the genre, and I hope we see more of it. Part two of the question said, what influences outside of Texas country do you lean on for writing and performing? Maybe some cowpunk. So I don't do exactly a whole lot of writing personally, but as far as rock, I mean, rock's a heavy influence of every member of this band that I'm in right now. I mean, you've got our drummer who is a big time Pantera guy, but he's into like some really heavy rock, like Kubla Khan out of Dallas area. We're talking really heavy rock.
Well, yeah, I think it's also interesting though to know that when you start talking about playing different instruments and what their kind of inspiration is, I think drummers are probably the ones that probably have one of the broader ranges of, like this guy is in a country band, but he likes Sepultura. And this guy's
Yeah.
in a country band and he loves, George Strait.
Right.
So that's one where I feel like drummers, it's really broad
It
because you
is.
can kind of go you can go almost any direction as opposed to,
Mhm.
when you start talking about lead guitar and stuff like that, so you got acoustic and backup and bass. I feel like I don't want to say that it's necessarily like just because you're a country guy, your inspiration is country, but you'll find a lot of it to where, like we talked about, rock and country and soul and R&B kind of being intertwined.
They have been, especially lately. I mean, all you got to do is look at soul R&B and country influence, and that's Jelly Roll in a box, right? I mean, that's what he is.
It's a big box,
The
but
big box, but it's a box. The man's in it. And all of us, at least in this band, we all have backgrounds in the bands we were listening to growing up. We were into Breaking Benjamin, Disturbed, Deftones, but grunge has been a huge influence in a lot of the bands currently in Texas country right now. Believe it or not, there's a lot of bands with the Texas country label that are rock and roll, and they got the black shirts, wearing black pants, got the Van tennis shoes, they're rocking out. But and a lot of their flavor came from grunge because there is flavors of grunge that resonate in what's going on in a lot of Texas country. It's just kind of a weird
well,
dynamic.
and I think you see an overlap, well, at least artistically, right?
Yeah,
There's an overlap between, well, it's just kind of separating first. You have country, and then you have kind of red dirt road, and then you kind of got what you talk about, like kind of some shred dirt, and
sure.
then grunge. And in grunge, it almost feels like grunge came in and turned red dirt into shred dirt.
A little bit. I mean, if you, I mean, look at what country music was in Texas throughout the 70s and the 80s into the 90s. If you're looking at the Ray Wiley Hubbards of the world, the Jerry Jeff Walkers of the world, that sound is very different from what a lot of the bands are doing these days. And I think the beauty of it is you have so many bands that all have their own individual flavor, and it's a beautiful thing. Everybody has their influences. We've got blends of kind of what we would consider traditional Texas country, but we have that red dirt edge in a lot of the stuff that we do. Maybe we're going to chug a little bit on a couple songs, but people will look at Carson as the country cowboy and immediately put, oh, he's a honky tonk guy. I'm like, it's not really his style. He's not doing the Alan Jackson. He's not swinging his hips around. He's not doing this whole number. That's not how he operates. The man writes music that's more story based, so very Charlie, like Charlie Robinson. He's kind of in
Yeah.
that vein, the William Clark Greens of the world, the Ryan Binghams of the world. That's where we get a lot of our flavor, but we add rock flavor to it at times. So it's all just kind of how you want to interpret your sound and your music. You're talking about a bunch of guys that grew up heavy in rock, and we're playing in a country band. So we're going to apply that rock flavor to what we do, but we don't go away from the spirit of it, right? Because we've had members of the bands in the past, like in particular Ryan Rogers. He's a huge '80s classic '80s rock guy. He's really into Guns N' Roses, in particular Slash. He wanted to play on a Les Paul, rip and roll, and that didn't fit our vibe. Took a long time to get to that point, but you bring in Kyle, and Kyle's been an absolutely incredible guitar player because he can float around in style and play with different ideas. So I think it just is to more or less answer your question. Yes, punk has had an influence at times, especially in some bands. For us personally, that's not there, but it's a really interesting deal, and I'd be curious to go look back at that late '70s, early '80s punk rock that was running around in Texas. I got to do some research on that. So. That was it for our questions today. Long podcast today. We got,
Yeah, we ran a little long, but we have plenty to talk about.
yeah, we did.
Big game. It's a little bit easier to talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, before we close up, I just want to say, man, it has been tough lately, right? It's been tough. Like today's Patriot, like, I know it's called Patriot Day, but it's 9/11, right? And I still remember digging bodies out of the Pentagon, and it's, and just all the events over the last week or two, and then just kind of look back over like the last 5 to 10 years kind of thing. So I know, like, one of the beauties of sport is that it gives us a distraction, right? We're able to escape whatever may be going on. But I just want everybody out there to know that, like, I'm thinking about y'all. I'm praying for y'all. I'm praying for this country. Things are tough, and I get it, man. And I know it's hard there's a lot of people that are younger that just haven't experienced evil in the world, but evil in the world exists. It's a terrible thing, and it's a terrible thing to witness. But I just want y'all to know that we're thinking about y'all. If whatever your higher power is, just you've got to believe that good times are still here and good people are still here. And so I know it, man. I get it. It's heavy. It's tough.
It is.
So we just wanted to let y'all know that we're praying for y'all, and it's just kind of stay the course and do what you can and be that good person, and if you have religion, that you be in that space and be that godly person and be that example to the people around you. And so we just I know it's a little heavy. If we didn't want to. Like we always say, we don't talk politics, we don't talk religion. We try to stay away from that stuff. But just know that we're praying for y'all, and definitely praying for this country. It's tough times, and it's just ironic that today being the 24th anniversary of, like we said earlier, it's the day that changed the world. It really did.
Did.
So just praying for all y'all. And I hope y'all are doing well and being able to get through tough times. And if not, I'll say it a million times: seek help. There's no weakness in admitting that you have a weakness. There's none at all. I've seen enough of that. Enough buddies commit suicide from the military who were the toughest, baddest dudes you ever met in your life. And so it's okay to not be okay. I say that a lot, and I mean it. I do. So, but we love you guys. We appreciate all y'all support. I'll let Rob do all the sharing and liking stuff. He's got it pretty down pat. I'm just kind of a doof.
Hey, and of course, to kind of add to that, I think if you guys need anybody to talk to about this kind of stuff, if you're just kind of a little worried about the world around you and all that fun stuff, our DMs are open, and we've got plenty of thoughts on what's going on in the world. But the most important thing is be kind and support each other best you can.
Yeah.
And continue to
Yeah.
pray, because a lot of this is out of our control individually. The best thing we can do is support each other through the one thing we can do, and that's pray. So,
Yeah, unfortunately, I do have some experience in dealing with this stuff. I mean, I don't have a degree, but
yeah,
I'm always here to listen to people. I
Yes.
I pride myself on kind of being the shoulder to cry on, or just an ear to open. So,
yeah,
if you guys are ever having issues, please, by all means, and anybody that's here locally, the university has great resources. So just
yes,
yeah, just take care of yourselves, honestly, and that's not just physically. It's not just going to the gym. It's taking care of yourself mentally,
yes,
taking care of those around you. You'll find that your wellness a lot of times can be based in looking out for the wellness of others.
yep.
It goes back to being kind. I mean, we could take it all the way back to elementary school and call it the golden rule.
Golden rule.
So
All
look
right.
out for each other, look out for yourselves. Enjoy a weekend of college football. It's going to be a great weekend. Enjoy whatever you're doing. I'm not going to South Bend. I forgot to tell you, I am smoking a chuck roast this weekend. I've never done that. I went to the store today to get it. I asked for 3 to 4 pounds. He gave me 6.5. So we're going to have to work on my timeline a little bit, but yeah, I'll have a report back. I've never smoked a roast, so I think they call it the poor man's brisket.
Yep.
But yeah, so I'll have a report back on that. And if I don't, it's because it sucked.
Yeah. To your point, we're talking about doing a segment here in the near future where we're going to be highlighting some restaurants and places that I visit when we're on the road. We're going to be looking into that this weekend. The boys and I are heading out to Bernie, Texas. We're playing a makeup show. We were supposed to play there back on July 5th, but unfortunately that lined up right with the flooding going on down there in Kerrville. So we had to postpone that show. We are now making up that show this weekend on Saturday in Bernie at Pure Barbecue over there. So we'll be playing at a barbecue joint. We'll see how that goes. I have been told time and time again, every time I go to one of these places, oh, this is the best barbecue in Texas. I've had the best barbecue in Texas at 18 different places, and I guarantee you, not a single one of them has eclipsed
You know what?
that for me.
And we'll ask y'all this. We'll do a little bit of a split. Like I'll do like whatever's going on the grill or on the pit. Like what am I serving for the
Sure.
weekend? Generally, I'm cooking, and Rob's going to tell you where they're going. And if y'all know a place, recommend it to them.
Yeah, by
Like
all
just
means.
because they're going to the barbecue joint doesn't mean like they need to miss the greatest burger joint in all of Bernie.
Right, exactly. If you've got a kick-ass burger joint in Bernie you want to tell us about, please do so. And any of these other shows we got coming up, which we're gonna be plenty busy this fall, and a lot going on with new album getting ready to release. We've had to adjust our timeline thanks to Carson being Carson and unfortunately having his little diabetic episode, but we will uh we will get those updated times and everything because I'm about to be running all the socials for Carson starting on Monday. So we're going to be rolling hard on that. Have all the information on everything coming out.
So if the socials suck, we know who to blame.
Exactly. Yeah. DM me
Perfect.
directly. Don't DM Carson Jeffrey again. Just DM me. Tell me I'm terrible at my job. Be sure to follow us on our socials. As a nice little segue. That is Rob the Slapper on both X and Instagram. Roy May Jr. on Instagram. Roy May 15 on X. Thank you guys so much for checking out our podcast today. Be sure to like, subscribe on YouTube, hit that little bell icon if you're feeling extra spicy, you want to see us upload. And of course, please, by all means, leave us a comment. We want to know that you guys are listening and that you guys are interested in what we've got to say. So,
Comments and questions.
yeah, shoot us questions. Hell, shoot us a question for next week on a video. We'd love that. We'll happily respond and we'll post those out. So, I am Rob White. This is Roy May. We are the RedAss Podcast. Thank you all so much. Take care. Beat the ever living, ever loving compound complex fighting Texas Aggie class of 2014 hell out of Notre Dame. Gig 'em. We'll see y'all next week.
Dig 'em.